Hello, my name is Sarah. Welcome to the It's a Sarah podcast. Today it is Friday, September 1st, 2023, and this is episode number 100. It's a special episode. No, it's a special number. It won't be a special episode. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. I love to knit, I love to crochet, and I love to talk, so that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. I love talking about my knitting and crochet so much that I make episodes twice a week, every Monday and every Friday. And I make them in Dutch and in English, so be sure you pick the right one. Okay. Episode number 100. It's a special number. I'm not very interested in the numbers. Of course, I see the numbers and I like it when the numbers are beautiful numbers. 100 is a beautiful number. But that's not my goal or whatever. But I will share a little bit about it. It's a good moment to look back. It was not my plan, but I received a lovely message of a Belgian viewer on Instagram yesterday, and she said, "Those are the moments you are allowed to celebrate." And then I realized that it was a good moment to look back. So I will look back with you at the end of the episode. And the rest of the episode, I will talk with you about Ariana. And I thought that it was very nice. It's actually coincidence, but that in my episode number 100, a special number, I will share all about my old Ariana, my new Ariana. And Ariana is one of my favorite handwork projects because it's a combination of two of my big loves. My biggest loves, crochet and knitting, but also my biggest loves within crochet and knitting. The granny squares are really, truly, deeply favorite things to make for me, but also knit to purl to is absolute, I think, my favorite knitting stitch. It's not really a knitting stitch, combination of knitting stitches. So it's very nice that on this day, it was my plan to talk about all of my favorites. So, okay, let's start. What I'm wearing is my Ariana cardigan. It is my first one. I made it last summer, and I think it was finished the same time of the year in 2022, and I started wearing it, and it's really one of my favorites. I really love it. The Ariana cardigan is a pattern by Christoffers. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's a cardigan made with granny squares and finished with a knitted border. And it was, I think, my first garment in which I combined the crochet and the knitting. And since then, I did it some more times, and I really love doing it. It's not knitting or crochet, but knitting and crochet. And yeah, that's really me. So this cardigan made me so happy. I didn't follow the pattern actually exactly. The pattern, I don't have it with me here, but the pattern is a little drawing and how the cardigan is made, how the cardigan is built, and it tells you how all the squares are placed. It are squares and triangles and two little quarter squares at the front. And I think the pattern tells you that you crochet all the squares and triangles and quarters, and then you join them together in one time. It's a very, for me, it's a very difficult instructions. So you can start at one point and then you have all the construct. It's a big puzzle, and then after all, your cardigan is finished, and you only have to weave in your beginning yarn end and your beginning yarn end. Do you call it beginning end? It sounds not correct. And your ending yarn end. So I didn't do that. I don't know. That's not my way of thinking. I'm not good at thinking. It's too abstract for me. I'm a doer. I used to think that was kind of, do you say dumb? Kind of, no, not stupid. Not, nah, it sounds too negative, but that it was, I was not good at it. But I learned that it is not that I'm not good, it's just not my way. So there are other ways. It's not one way. You have different ways to get to an end result. And when you are not comfortable with one way, it will not mean that you can't do it or it's not your way. Just find your way. And that's really something I learned through knitting and crochet, that I'm not always for the mainstream way. It's not always fitting me. It's not, I can do it, but it's not always making me happy. For me, it's very important that I can do things my way. So, and that makes me so much more happy than when I have to do it the way all the people do things, or the way you were taught at school. But I didn't know that, I didn't realize that till I started crocheting and knitting, and I learned through making all the things that I found my own way. And I really, that was so satisfying that I thought, oh, but there are a lot of other things in my life which I can change a little bit, or take the longer way, or maybe the shorter way, or whatever. And it was so inspiring that when something is not working out for you, you only have to find your own way. So yeah, that and so it also worked with this. When I saw the pattern, I immediately knew that's not my way. So I have to find my own way. And that was because I tried it once. I made a blanket, a granny square blanket, and there was also a description to crochet it all together in one time, and it made me crazy. I did finish it, but I didn't like the process. So I was not going to try it again. I did it just as I go, with one square at a time. And that means that I had to weave in a lot of more yarn ends, but that is my way. Weaving yarn ends is also, everybody's hating, no, not everybody. A lot of people are not liking weaving, no, that's not a correct sentence. A lot of people dislike weaving in yarn ends. So I automatically also didn't like it, but when I changed my thought about it, and I changed my weaving in routines, I'm shortening that word, weaving in routines, then I realized I actually quite like weaving in yarn ends. So I'm a person who likes weaving in yarn ends. So that's not a problem. The fun part of this cardigan is that when you are doing it that way, I made a pile of granny squares. I did choose not a solid. Every square has the same, and every triangle has the same color combination. The same, in Dutch we say volgorde. Yellow in the middle in round 1, a bit of a brick color in round 2, a bit of a salmon pink, salmon red, I won't say, salmon pink in round 4, 1, 2, 3, in round 3, and light gray in round 4, and my main color was brown. I did make it with Lang Yarns Kylie. It was gifted to me because I worked for Lang Yarns by then. It's a special yarn. I always say it reminds me a bit of a boucle yarn. I don't know if that's correct, but that's what I think. It's a mix of wool and cotton and silk, and I guess something else, but I forgot, and I don't have the labels with me here. But I will add a link to my project page on Ravelry, so you can check if you like to. It makes it actually quite a nice summer cardigan because there's a lot of cotton in it, and yeah, it feels nice to my bare skin. I made quite some piles of granny squares. I knew how many I needed, and when I was what I didn't know is if I had enough yarn. So I made my squares. I started with making all the squares, and then I joined them, and I joined them as I go, and that made it such a nice process. When you are knitting a sweater or a cardigan, you are knitting in the round, top down or bottom up, and it is growing row by row. But with making a granny square card, you are building like a kid with wooden toys. You are building, you do a square there, and then you put one there and there. It is growing in a total different way, and that was so much fun. I really liked that process. So I crochet them as I go together. I did a little modification because the pattern is meant to be a little bit more oversized, and I do like oversized cardigans, only not on me, because it doesn't match with my other garments. I'm a small person. I like to wear wider skirts or dresses, and an oversized cardigan is not really matching. So I like to make my garments more fitted, and this one, it is fitted here. I did change something. I don't know how to explain what I changed, but I think I made one square here, and I think it were actually more squares. But I don't know. I don't remember how I did it, but I do remember that it wasn't really hard. Although there was a point that I thought, what am I doing? Because it is a puzzle here, but it did work out. And if I can do it, you can do it for sure. After all, when the whole cardigan is finished, you pick up stitches. I always crochet one round before I pick up the stitches. I also don't think the pattern tells you to do that, but because especially with the triangles, and you can pick up stitches in the last round of the granny squares quite easily, but at triangles and the quarter squares, you don't have the brown edge on this side. It's your cast on side. So I didn't like. No, I don't know. You're lying, Sarah. I didn't even try. I thought I wouldn't like it when I pick up the stitches right there. So I added a crochet border, just a single crochet. Oh, I don't know. All those US and UK terms are driving me crazy. But just the smallest stitch, not the smallest stitch, not the slip stitch, but the next one. Yeah. Without an extra turn around your crochet hook. It is called single crochet in one of the languages. In the other, I don't know. It's called a double crochet, I think. I think UK is double, US is single. How confusing it can be. Okay. That worked out pretty good. And then I added a knit 2 purl 2 border. I don't know if the pattern tells you to do knit 2 purl 2 or knit 1 purl 1, but I really love knit 2 purl 2. I love the look. I love knitting it. I do a kind of combination knitting. I think it's called like that. And it's really, I really love it. I really, it's so nice to do. So the only thing is that I made quite short ribbing at the sleeves, and I don't like it because there's a lot of cotton. It is not bouncing back. It is hanging, it's getting wider, and I don't really love the look. And also I really love sleeves till over the border of the sleeves, so that it's falling over my hands. I don't know, I think because it was a summer garment, I thought it wouldn't be a good match. And I also wasn't sure if I got enough yarn, I guess. But when I fold it back, it's perfect. It is. I always wear a lot of bracelets, and yeah, for a summer cardigan, this is perfect. So I did wear this quite a lot last month. It's for me. It's really. It's not. You also can. No, you also can wear it in winter, but for me, it's more a summer cardigan. Because I have a lot of choice. So yeah, it's really, I really love it. And I made another, N is Dutch. And I'm working on another one. Here it is. It is in my big basket filled with sock yarn scraps, and yeah, I really loved it. I think this was not really a planned project. It was more a spontaneous project because I always love to start my morning with 30 minutes of hard jumping knitting or crochet, and I named it in Dutch. I call it heerlijk handwerk halfuurtje. And when I translate it, it's just, it sounds not so cozy, but it's just lovely crafting 30 minutes. That's not sounding nice, but heerlijk handwerk halfuurtje is a cozy word. So I used to start my day with working hard, taking care of my kids, going to work because I used to work as a teacher, and doing the things in the house. And then after a few hours, I, as a kind of reward, I think that's the right word, I could sit down with my crochet or knitting, and as if I had earned it. And at one point I thought, why do I have to earn hard jumping time? That's quite ridiculous that you have to earn it. Why can't you start your day with hard jumping time? So you are full of energy to do all the other things. You have to do them. I understand, and I also want to do them. But when my alarm clock is going and I am waking up, I really can. I really need the help of thinking, oh, I can do a hard jumping thing in half an hour to get me out of the bed. And yeah, so I started to do special projects in those 30 minutes in the morning, and there were some rules for my project, because it must be a project that wasn't too hard to do, because I have 3 kids and they are teenagers right now, but I'm doing it at the breakfast table. I have my breakfast at a later point in the morning, but they are having breakfast and I'm sitting there with my cup of coffee and my project, and they are coming around. But it must be a work which I could do without a lot of attention, so I can have a chat with my children, I can put it down to do something and pick it up. It has to be easy. But it also has to be inspiring and exciting, because when I have to knit the body of a sweater, knit in stockinette all around. It is raining, I heard something. Knit in stockinette all around in one color. That's not hard jumping enough to get me out of the bed in the morning. So quite often I choose scrappy projects, because the scrappy colorfulness is the exciting hard jumping thing, and easy projects. I'm a bit distracted because I think somebody is coming home. I don't know. So quite often it is a granny stitch something, or a sock knitting something, projects which are not hard, but with the colors they are really so nice to start your day with. So that was the reason I started this Ariana cardigan, I guess, and it really makes me happy. It really makes me happy. I was doubting, this time I didn't a fixed color combination, but it's really a scrappy one. I don't plan my scrappy projects. Of course, I'm paying attention to other squares if I don't use the same color twice, because I have so much choice. But I just pick those squares are 5 rounds, so I pick 5 colors every time and I crochet the square. And I did choose black as a main color. I was doubting. I wanted to use some yarn from my stash and I had not a lot of options. I have a lot of one skein sock yarns in one skein, but I did need more than one skein, and I did choose for Retrosaria Mondine from Rosa Pomar. And one skein was gifted to me by a lovely wool shop owner in the Netherlands, a rebel with a twist, Alexandra. And the other skein I bought at her shop because I want to knit new leg warmers for the winter. That didn't happen yet, but I still need them. I also had this yarn from another lovely yarn shop in this color, in a little bit of brown. It's downstairs. I don't have it with me. But then I thought, okay, let me do the black one because I really love to wear black. Brown is my absolutely favorite color. But black is also, I think black is very powerful. And black in combination with all the bright colors. There are a lot of bright colors, but also a lot of natural colors. I really love natural colors, but the bright colors are also heart jumping to me. But it's really fun and nice and lovely. I really love it. I did film a bit for you, so let me take you with me so we can watch to my Ariana in action. I was looking in my knitting book when I started my Ariana cardigan, and I was looking and searching, and I must confess I don't made a page in my project book, in my knitting book. And I was a bit shocked. That never happens. I always do that. So I couldn't find the date I started this project. I'm quite sure I did make a Ravelry project page, and that's kind of weird because most of the time it's otherwise. I make a page in my knitting book and I add a Ravelry project page later, but I don't know what happened here. So I have to check when I really started. It is quite a while ago. No, that's not really true. I think it was April or something like that. But I will add my project page, my Ravelry project page in the show notes, so you can check if you like, if you are curious. I am curious right now. I really love scrappy projects. It's so refreshing to use all the color combinations without a lot of thinking, just doing and seeing how it works out. I did sort my yarn ends. This is my boring bag with boring gray. They are all lovely shades of gray, but I'm not a gray person. These are my tiny yarn balls. They were all tangled and it was all a big mess. So that's the reason why I sorted it. And I really want to make a scrappy sock of these little yarns. And this little bag, these are only yarn ends. They aren't even balls anymore. But I will use them for my scrappy project. This is the yarn I told about, the Retrosaria. It is really, it's a natural sock yarn without nylon, and I really love to work with it. It really gives you a nice stitch definition. It works nice, and I did knit socks with it, and they stay quite good. This is a little brown bag. It was gifted to me by a knitting friend, and I filled it with the lavender from the south of France. It smells really good. Oh, all those squares! Oh, I really love this cardigan. It's a little bit short on the front, but I don't mind. When I would make it again, I would add a little bit of extra border, but it's okay. It's really lovely. Yeah. I love the colors and I love the fit. It's perfect. The V-shaped neckline. Yeah, only the borders of the sleeves. Yes, I know, Sarah. These are the only ones which I would do different another time. Here you can see the yarn a bit. I tried to focus my camera, but it's quite hard. But you can see it's not a, it's a bit of a different yarn. Bit of a rough yarn. I really like it. It's a nice summer yarn. I didn't realize my camera didn't focus anymore. No, not at all. Not even at one point. Here I want to show you how I put off my Ariana cardigan and put on my Ariana sweater. But it's all not with a good focus. But still, even unfocused granny squares, scrappy granny squares are lovely to see. This time I chose to make a sweater of it because I really was curious how that would work out, and it's really a cropped sweater, and don't worry, I will add quite a long border at the bottom. Yes, it's making me very happy. I really love this. I made my sleeves different. The one with the border is a little bit shorter, and I was not sure about the length because I was a bit afraid it would be too short. So my second sleeve I made longer, and when my whole sweater is finished, when I also make the neck border and the border at the hem, I decide which length I prefer, but I'm quite sure I prefer the longest length. I really want to have my border a bit longer. Yeah, and I want to add the same amount of ribbing at the bottom of the sweater. Oh, those squares at my back, they are lovely. Yeah, this is a bit of a little tiny problem. This square stretches out a little bit, and also in my under my armholes, under my armpits. It is really a fitted sweater. It is a little bit more fitted than I planned. I did measure the squares, and I wanted them the same size as my first one, but making a cardigan out of it was, yeah, a little bit too much, I guess. I don't know if it's a problem. I hope it will block out a little bit. Okay, here it is again. Yeah, it is such a fun and lovely project, and it's really heart jumping for me to see that a lot of other people are making an Ariana cardigan or other granny square projects. It is really lovely. I really love the combination of crochet and knitting. I also did it with my lowrider jumper, a pattern by the Iron Lamp. I also added knitted borders, and yeah, I'm quite sure this will not be my last Ariana, because I am thinking, actually I am dreaming of another one, a third one, when this one is finished. Maybe a little bit of a longer, little bit more oversized one, and really a long one for over dresses and skirts for in winter, a woolly one. I have quite some yarns, some woolly yarns, superwash woolen yarns that are not knitting up pretty good, but my crochet blankets are staying quite nice with it. So maybe a crochet sweater will work out too. It's a DK weight, and I think I have enough for an even color combination, a fixed color combination. I also can make a scrappy color combination. But for me, this is really a satisfying little crochet work. So I'm at the point that all the crochet work is done. I only have to fix the sleeve when I have to add one square for some extra length. But before I will do that, I will finish the borders everywhere. I didn't weave in all my yarn ends. Actually, every time I finished the 5 rounds, the 5 colored rounds, I do weave in the yarn ends, but when I'm crocheting them together, the last yarn ends, the black one, and I didn't weave in. I actually always used to do that, but there were quite some moments that I made a mistake, or I did have to rip out a part of a sweater or whatever, and I because the fit was not good, or there was a modification needed, and then I also always have to frog out the woven in yarn ends. That was extra time, so I'm a bit careful with weaving in too soon right now, and I will save it for the last when I'm quite sure all is perfect. So the fun part, the colorful part is done right now. I will pick up stitches for the neckline, and you can see it was my plan to film it for you, but I didn't do it. I forgot it, and I don't think I have time left. Maybe another time. I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but I always make this little round of crochet. This is what I meant. It is like this. The granny squares, they do have a black edge with the main color, and you can pick up stitches at the bottom. It is not happening, but you can pick up stitches in the granny square sides quite easily. But the triangle sides, they have that plain bottom without the main color, and I don't like it. Now I think I don't like it when I pick up stitches in that, so I added the little crochet border. And it's a bit, I look what the sweater needs. Oh, I'm not done yet. Yeah, I did do the whole round, and then it was a little bit too tight, so I ripped it out. And sometimes when a special part needs a little bit more stretch, you add some chains in between the stitches. But when it needs less stretch, you use less stitches. Is that a good sentence? I don't know. So I play a bit with it, and then I look and I think, oh, that's okay. So I will pick up stitches for the neckline and make the V-stitch neckline, and I will share more about that and how I do it when the sweater is finished, and also the bottom part. But oh, it is so nice. This is hard jumping. Yeah, really, really nice. It isn't a hard jumping work anymore in the morning because it's all knitting black, and of course I love to knit knit to purl to, but it's not hard jumping enough to get me out of the bed. No, that sounds quite dramatic. I'm a morning person, so that's not true. But I'm thinking of casting on a new hard jumping project, and I'm quite sure that it will be a pair of scrappy socks. I sorted out all this. This is way too much, and I think it will be very nice to work on scrappy socks in the morning. Yeah, I think it will be hard jumping. It was my plan to use this one for the toes, the heels and the cuffs, but when I was making my Dutch episode, it is for a thrifted sock yarn. It's very cheap, and I found it in the thrift store quite a while ago, and I really love the colors, brown and white and a bit of yellow. But I checked the label in my Dutch episode, and I thought I discovered it has quite an amount of acrylic. 50% yarn, wool, 35% acrylic and 25% polyamide. I don't know if I want that in my socks. Don't know. I really love the colors. We shall see what happens. Okay, enough about my Ariana. I will finish her quite soon, and then I will show her, and I will tell you all about the finishing details. Yeah. Then a little bit about the special episode. No, the special number, the 100. This is my episode number 100, and it's a good moment to take a little look back, how it all happened, how it all starts, and I had to go back quite a while because before I started on YouTube, I used to make little episodes on Instagram TV. I really am an Instagram lover. I use it for quite some years right now, and I really love that platform to share all your knitting and crochet inspiration, and to find other inspiration and other like-minded people. That's very nice. So I really love the connection, and I love all the beautiness. It's the only social media I use, Instagram and YouTube. I don't use other things. And it was never my plan to start a podcast or to make filmpjes, as I call them in Dutch. But at one day, it was March 8th in 2019. It was my mother's birthday. I was sitting here on my table at our bedroom, and I remember I was opening the iPad, I guess the iPad and the camera, and it was just in the time that I was discovering all the podcasts, the nice knitting podcasts on YouTube. And I opened it, and I was wearing my thrifted cardigan, a lovely colorwork cardigan with brown and white, and I was sitting here, and the bedroom was all fresh and nice and clean, and I realized, this could be a nice podcast spot. And then I just jumped in. And you can find all my Instagram TV episodes. They are all in Dutch, so I don't think they are really interesting to watch when you are not a Dutch speaker or understander. But when you go to Instagram, you see all the pictures, and then you can also go to the reels. It isn't called Instagram TV anymore. And when you scroll down, I have some reels. I'm not really a reel maker. I'm a reel maker. I'm not a reel maker. That sounds quite nice. But I don't make reels quite often. But when you scroll down, you see all the little Sarahs, so many little Sarahs, because I made episodes every week. I made them on Tuesdays because I used to work as a teacher in that time, a handwork teacher on a Waldorf school, and that the Tuesdays were really busy to me. There were so many children, there was so much work. I had to run all day, and it was lovely, but it was also a lot. And when I came home, my husband took care of the kids at Tuesday afternoons, and when I came home, I was so filled with a lot of high energy, and under that energy I was completely tired and had a low battery. But to make the change from a running handwork teacher to a relaxed, calm mother and wife, I made those episodes, and they really helped me by that change, and to let go all the energy. And I never wanted to go to YouTube. Sometimes people ask, but I was afraid of YouTube because I didn't know how it all worked. And it was just not what I wanted. So I made episodes on Instagram TV, and they were 15 minutes was the maximum size. But Sarah, do you think you can talk your stories in 15 minutes? No way. So I made several episodes, and later I did them live because I was struggling with my perfectionism and also with the length. So I did it live. So there were no struggles anymore. It was just happening, and it really helped me to be myself in the episodes. And 2 years ago, I did move to YouTube and started there, and all in Dutch. And from episode 20, I also started in English. And when you are watching my episodes for quite a while, you know it was a big struggle for me, because I was not an English talking person. We got English lessons on high school, but I'm 41. High school is quite a while ago. So, and also at high school, there was not a lot of talking. It was mainly reading, but not talking. And my English is perfect. I can understand quite much. I can watch all the English knitting podcasts, and I can watch all the English television. I'm not a television watcher, but that's not a problem. But speaking English, and also about your heart jumping things, but also when you are a perfectionist, it was quite a struggle. So after a while, it was so bad, and I was not having fun. And then I thought, okay, then quit. You've tried. It's okay. Just do it in Dutch. But there was a little voice in me which shouted, which screamed, no, we still want to do it in English. So I did, and now I don't know. Something changed, but I am having fun. right now. So I think it's really special. I never realized that there can be such a nice community, and with having sharing the same love for craft. And I do have knitting and crocheting people in my real life, but not as much as I have in my online life. And it's always a bit online social media can be a bit scary because you're not face to face with the person you are sharing things with, but still it's quite a cozy community. I think the knitting and crochet community, for me, it's all cozy. I never receive negative things or negative, never. And yeah, that's absolutely it's all so sweet and careful and lovely people all over there. And I think for me it's really special. I hope you realize that there are so many people interested in listening to my crafty adventures, to my handwerk perikelen. That's really special because I love talking about it a lot and sharing it with my Dutch knitting fellows, my Dutch knitting ladies, and maybe also men. I don't know. I think the main part is women, but I don't know. It's all good. But to be able to share it worldwide, it's really special. Every time I read a comment, oh, I'm watching from there. I'm watching from there. But I think it's really, really special. So it really makes me happy. And I hope it makes you happy too. I think that must be the most important rule. Only watch all those things when it makes you happy. When you are feeling overwhelmed, or maybe you are filming. Filming. Did I say filming? When you are feeling overwhelmed, or when you are feeling down, when you are thinking, by watching all the stuff on Instagram and YouTube, oh, all those people can make so many things. I feel that every now and then. And then I know, okay, now it's time to turn that thing off. It's not always good to watch. Only when you are feeling good and you are feeling inspired by all the beautiful things other people make, then it's absolutely nice. But when you are I don't know the word. When you are feeling negative feelings, just quit for a while. That's also good. You enjoying your own knitting and crochet is absolutely the most important. And I always really love to be inspired, to learn from other people, and that's okay. But it's not. I would be very disappointed when other people would feel themselves. Would feel down when after watching my podcast. That's a nightmare. I don't want it. If you are feeling down now, quit this video or do a hard jumping thing. Okay. But I don't have plans. I never planned it. I'm just having fun. And when it was February, I made daily episodes. Before that, I only made episodes on Monday, but in the whole February, I made daily episodes inspired by the, how do you call it? The Christmas vlog. How do you call it? Vlogmas. Vlogmas. December is not a good month for me to do that, but I thought February is boring and let's do it in February. And since then I loved making episodes so much that I make them twice a week, and that's quite a lot, but I really love it. It's so much fun and I have the time. And when I look to all the things I made, I filmed it a bit. I will do it when I'm almost ready with talking, but I will, so you can see it with a little music under it. I thought, oh, how much would I have knit when I didn't use all this time for making episodes? that is so much knitting time. But it also it brought me so much connection with other people online and in real life, and that was absolutely worth it. And I really loved making episodes. It's always a bit of a struggle between. I also love to do the editing, but it costs so much knitting time, and I prefer knitting and crochet. So within a little boundaries of time, I try to make something nice of it. So, and yeah, I really love that people are watching it, that they are loving it. So I love it, so that's enough. But it's nice when other people are enjoying what you do with love. So I want to thank you a lot. It is Friday afternoon right now. I have a nice weekend because tomorrow there is a knitting event, a yarny event. I was there last year, and I am invited to be there, and I am invited to sit on a couch, and other people are coming and joining, and I hope they will come knitting and chatting with me on the couch. And it will be lovely weather. It's on a Dutch river. It's very lovely, and it is my plan to film a bit, but I think it's always a bit exciting to film when other people. I forget it always. I don't think when I'm chatting, and yeah, I'm not quite often with my phone in social time, but and I also think it's quite exciting to do the filming when other people are around. But we will see. Maybe I have some nice footage for you this Monday. I hope you have a nice weekend with a lot of heart jumping moments. Take care of that, and I will see you on Monday. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.